excited to welcome two amazing actors to the show, Lea Thompson and Stacey Farber, who have just started a new show on CTV called The Spencer Sisters. Ladies, thanks so much for hanging out. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So I'm going to start with you, Lea. How did this show come to your attention? Like, did the executive producers reach out? Like, how did it come to you?
Yeah, I actually have, yes, they sent me the script and they offered me the part, and it was great. It's great to not have to audition. And I loved the story. I loved the character. I thought she would just be so much fun to play. I love doing comedy, and I know that people really enjoy these mysteries, and they're very popular. So it seemed like a great opportunity to be in a show that could really hit and be, I could have a couple years acting with this one, which would be great.
Lea, did you know of Stacey beforehand, or did she get to your attention just because of the show?
I did. Well, my husband and I are Virgin River fans, so that was one of the things we did during the pandemic together. So I had seen Stacey.
Amazing. And Stacey, how did the show come to you?
The show came to me, I guess, after Lea. And I was asked to make a tape, which is now there's no meetings or readings still, even though everything subsided mostly with the pandemic. So I submitted my version of the character and the scenes. And I did one, I remember, I don't do this for all of the tapes that I do, but I did one that was sticking to the script. And then I, for fun, messed around and changed a lot of the words and did another version and gave them both. And then pretty quickly, like within 24 hours, I'd say they'd sent over the full script, which I hadn't seen, and a beautiful deck with like images of what the vibe of the show would be. And they told me that Lea was doing it. And I read the script, and obviously the pilot too, it follows my character through her whole terrible journey with her job and her boyfriend and all these things that happen to her before she then returns to her mother's house. So I read through all of that and found it very funny on top of the procedural crime detective stuff. And so that's really what appealed to me, and the opportunity to play her daughter and work opposite Lea. I knew I would learn a lot.
And what's crazy is you actually look like you're related, which is amazing.
I know. Isn't that lucky?
It's
I know.
really cool.
Compliment. Thank you.
Lea, I know you've obviously filmed in Canada before for different things, but what was it like filming? Because I read that you filmed this in Winnipeg. So what had you been to Winnipeg before, and what was it like being on set in Canada?
I've worked a lot in Canada, made a lot of movies. I'm right now I'm going to Vancouver to direct Resident Alien again. But I'd never been to Winnipeg, and I'm from Minnesota, so it was always hovering right above. But I never got there. And I always, when I was young, I aspired to being in the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. So we got to go and see them, and that was fun. And I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of great food, a lot of great festivals, a lot of beautiful art. And I love the lakes. I'm a big lake girl. I dragged her to the lakes.
It's not just she likes lakes. It's like she's a swimmer. Like she has to go. It's like a thing. She's like a fish.
Yeah, I like lakes. So, and I also like pickerel, which is walleye in Minnesota. I don't know why they changed the name.
We just do that up here.
Yeah.
We just make it our own.
Walleye doesn't sound as good as pickerel. I don't know, but yeah, we enjoyed it.
That's awesome. And did you, because being from Montreal, we have heard that, in the summer there's massive mosquitoes in Winnipeg. Is that true? I don't know. So
I was warned. I was told they're the size of birds, and I should be very afraid. And I was prepared for it, and I actually didn't find it that bad.
It wasn't a bad year.
I don't know why.
It wasn't a bad year. And I went to Florida, and I got way more bites. And you can't even see those bugs coming. Like, at least you see them coming in Winnipeg. It's like,
it's more like in your ear, that it's like, and you're like,
that's amazing. Lea, I wanted to ask you as well. Obviously you've worked extensively in the States. I know you've worked a lot in Canada, but Being that you're also a director, do you find there's a palpable difference between how Canadian television is done versus how things are done in the States?
Yeah, there's a little difference. There's a, you know, the muster point. That's a whole thing here.
I don't think we've ever gone to one though.
We've never had to go
But
to
it
the muster
exists.
point, but that's every day they tell you where the muster point is.
Yeah.
And
We're more concerned about safety generally.
well, no,
So-
in America, it's just like we're gonna all meet there if there's an emergency. But I like the muster point. Feels like, you know, there are certain differences which I found interesting, but all in all, I mean, we had a great crew.
Yeah.
I loved our crew, and they worked really hard and were incredibly skilled and dedicated. So that way I don't see too much of a difference. I mean, we're all carnies.
Yeah.
Whether it's in America or in Canada.
Stacey, what does it mean to you to have another like lead role in a Canadian series? Like, you know, because I always find like when people come back to Canada, there's just something special. Is that true for you?
Yeah, I don't think I've really left either. Like I have done a lot of time before the pandemic in LA, but a lot of us would go down for pilot season or for half the year and come back, and I'm always here and there. Yeah, it is a big deal. I'm trying to celebrate it and not just downplay it and think it's like not a big thing. Like it is significant, and it is a huge milestone for me. And I've been doing this for so long, like over 20 years. And I cannot believe that like is even the truth. Like I don't know how I'm still doing it. But I am, and this is a huge win, and I'm really proud of this show. I'm glad that this is the one that I'm a lead of.
We had a cameraman, one of our cameramen that I really loved. He had misty eyes, and he was like, I'm really glad to be working on a Canadian show, you know, that's for Canada,
Yeah.
in Canada. And I thought that was lovely.
Yeah, CTV especially. This is sort of where I got my start, so it all just feels like home. I like it. I'm happy here.
Lea, what's the best part about your role that you find in this show?
I like that she's so complicated. I like that she's a woman of my age that still has spunk and sexuality and, you know, humor, and still has a zest for life. And I like that because there's a tendency to kind of turn the stereotype of a woman in my age as being depressed and sad and like a hag, you know, and I just don't want to play those characters. I want to play someone vivacious, and she certainly is.
You know what's funny is when I watched the pilot, you reminded me of like you and Jean Smart should be like hanging out with her character from Hack. Like it just felt really, you know, cool to see how you were and how she is. I thought that was amazing. And Stacey, what's the best part about your role?
My role, I love it. She's a cop. I hadn't done that before, but that changes quickly. I love the dry humor, and I love exploring the mother-daughter relationship. Our characters move in together. And I've lived with my parents. Like I said, when I was going to LA and doing that whole thing, I'd return to Toronto and live with my parents most of the time. So I know what that's like as an adult. And it's a funny thing and a frustrating thing. So I was happy to play that too.
Now, if things go well, and I'm sure they will, because I honestly thought the first show was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Are we coming back for a season 2? Like, will we get you both?
I'll be there.
Okay.
We joke that what if there's someone else, like I said it yesterday, there was a girl with red hair at where we were doing, and I was like, is she gonna be the new Spencer sister next year? If there's a next year, like, are we gonna get replaced? But no, we wouldn't get replaced, and yes, we would both be there very happily.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We had a great time.
Perfect. And now I have to ask you, as a a Montrealer, a couple of questions about Montreal for you. Lea, what's the best part about Montreal? I know you said you filmed the movie here, so from your memory bank, what did you love the most about our city?
Well, I love the long break and the cheese platter at lunch.
Great.
Must have
Really?
cheese
I don't remember
platter.
that.
Yeah, that's what at least this show. And it's just such a beautiful city. It's such a beautiful city. And it's so crazy to feel like you're in Europe or, Canadian Europe. It's like such a brain twister. And I love the people. I love French. The sound of it and just the saucy nature of Montreal people. I had a
Amazing.
great.
Well, I want to put in a word to your producers that maybe you guys come and film season 2 in Montreal.
That would be great.
Maybe great.
That'd be hot. Stacey, I know that as a Torontonian, hopefully you love the Habs, but you probably love the Toronto Maple Leafs. But what's your favorite thing about Montreal apart from our hockey team?
Yeah, I should love hockey more than I do. I'm cheering for both equally in that case. I loved working in Montreal. I spent a few summers there doing 18 to Life, and it was amazing. Like the best time of year with Tams and the park and walking everywhere. And I think my favorite thing is Beauties. I
Okay.
love eating at Beauties. Like that's my stop. If I ever have to go to Montreal or get to go for work, then I go eat there.
Amazing. I have 2 fast fact questions for you to answer for our fans here. So Lea, I'm going to start with you. If you could switch places with another actor for one day, who would it be and why?
Wow. Oh, that's a really hard question.
It could be for your personal life or it could be for work.
Oh dear. I don't know. Audrey Hepburn.
There we go.
I know she's dead. That's bad. But when she was 5.
Stacey, same question for you.
I might pick Jessie Buckley, who's an actor who's doing amazing stuff now. She's just in like such cool things. She's in Sarah Polley's film Women Talking, and she just gets, I've read some scripts of movies that she's working on now, and they're very cool, and she's just like working on awesome stuff. So I'd love to do that.
And she's not dead.
Yeah, she's not dead.
So there's
Lea,
that.
who's the last celebrity that you texted with?
Sean Cullen. She's a
Yeah,
Sean.
he's a Canadian celeb.
Yeah, I just texted him.
Your daughter?
My daughter Zoe Deutsch. Yeah,
She's famous.
she's famous.
Perfect.
Those are the last 2. And you?
Yeah, Stacey, who did you text with?
Dan Levy's one of my best friends, so I talk to him a lot. I wish I could say Drake, but don't text with him anymore much. Those are probably my 2, both Canadian, but both up
Perfect.
there.
And last question for the both of you. I'll start with Lea. Do you have a message for your Montreal fans?
A message. Watch the Spencer
Yes.
sisters. Merci for watching.
Perfect. Stacey, again, as a good Torontonian, what do you have to say to Montrealers?
Merci for watching. And s'il vous plaît, please watch.
Great. Ladies, it's been such a joy to have you on the show. Just thank you so much for making time for us. We really appreciate it, and continued success. I cannot wait for 2nd episode and season 2.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Kelly, and I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for all of the support that you continue to show The Kelly Alexander Show and our latest program, Just Dance, that I co-host with award-winning choreographer Tina Landon. We've been having so much fun on Just Dance, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. We've done interviews with Brian and Scott Nicholson, who work with Ariana Grande, RJ and Nick, who work with Pink and Katy Perry, Luther Brown, who works with our girl Janet Jackson, and the list goes on and on. And we also have many surprises coming for you in this coming year. So please sign up and join us to have lots of fun. hy.page/Kelly Alexander Show, our YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, and our newsletter, which is kellyalexandershow.com/subscribe.